good night, St. Martin, and welcome to your favorite online internet program, www.sxmtalk.com. Of course, I'm your host, Christopher Emmanuel, and welcome to another program here today. I guess the cat is out of the bag, and we all are rumbling and wondering what's next or how is it going to go. Call a friend, call someone, and tell them log on now to www.sxmtalk.com. I didn't post nothing up because I had nothing to post in terms of a topic, because I think St. Martin, just like me, I'm a bit mind bubbled to myself as to the current events that we see happening on St. Martin. But let's get to the main topic, I guess. I assume that everyone has probably on their mind, and it should have been expected. I don't think there's any hiccups behind it. Romaine Laville not passing the screening, and I've said it here before. I couldn't see it happening. I couldn't see it happening, passing the screening. But to me, there is something much more interesting than just that, though. And what is much more interesting than that is I also heard that someone else didn't pass the screening, but that wasn't reported. It wasn't reported that that individual didn't pass the screening also. And that is a proposed name from the DP camp. Well, I think I probably know the supporter as being the person being someone out of the DP camp. But it is rumored, and let me stress on the word again, it is rumored that that individual also did not pass the screening, but that one wasn't reported, and the person didn't pass the screening because of the involvement of the husband in a credit union situation that they had way back when. But like I said, that is rumored that that individual didn't pass the screening also, so again, it is less to be seen. But Romaine did not pass the screening, so of course he can be a minister, and he sent out a press release today. And to tell you the truth, I don't understand nothing in it. But one thing came across paramount, stand out. And I think is a sickness that we as politicians have, and hence the word we. So I'm including myself and saying plural. It's the I effect. Everything or almost every sentence is I think it's gonna make for a good calypso song. I want this. I want to do that. I want to solve this. And I'm saying to myself, when people are going to understand, when politicians are going to understand, when is it that we're going to understand? It is not about us. Goodness gracious. It's not about us. It's about the country, St. Martin. It's about the people that we are put there to serve. So, people are asking, and that's the reason why when that smart person posted on the page some time back, oh, you're counting numbers, what's the purpose of your program tonight? Wait till you get in parliament. Ha! That's why I said, and I sent back the message, he have to get in first. He have to get in first. Because based on this, I don't see him getting in. But again, like I said, it is also rumored, I picked this up, that they're going to ask Mark Mingo from the Harbor. That's the one about the Harbor. I think, yeah, that's the one about the Harbor. To become minister. Romaine going to give the seat to Theo. And he is going to go up and be the managing director of the Harbor. That is what is being rumored or thrown out there, or how we're going to mingle its way around. And let me say this, right? If that is the case, nothing else should surprise the people of St. Martin as really what this is all about. And I have been saying it from day one. I have been saying it. Greed. Greed. Greed and more greed. agreed. And I keep saying it, and I'm confused because St. Martin people, seriously imagine it. Sit down in the comfort of your home and your chair and just imagine Maurice Lake being a minister. Goodness gracious. If not only being to your assistant was to his head, imagine him being a minister now. I can imagine he probably in the States by Joseph A. Banks, getting his suit, buy one and get a second one free. Because I mean, I could imagine seeing this fellow. Huh? Seriously? This is what our country have reduced to? Getting a bunch of you don't want to use the word delinquent, but you know you always had this person in the classroom. It doesn't matter how many times the teacher explained him over and over and over how it's supposed to go. He even shuffle around the classroom and put one of the smart children to sit down next to him, and he just don't get it. This is how we seem to be running our country. With these sort of individuals. Huh? Because we all know that Maurice Lake can't make a decision without Theo being there as a minister. I mean, we shouldn't be no surprise. He's just a minister in the front. But I bet you, I guarantee you, Theo gonna be the one sitting in the office. So we are all wondering, well, Romaine ain't part of the screening, but did you guys really expected him to pass the screening? Of course he can't pass the screening. Of course. He wouldn't pass the screening. So what's next? The only thing that is next is for new elections. And I am surprised. I am mind boggled. I am out of it right now trying to figure out what is it the governor mean? What is it? I am confused. Seriously confused. You're giving the farmateur some more extended time? Extended time for what? How you could be giving the farmateur extended time when the majority in the Council of Ministers have a motion that was sent to you to dissolve Parliament? So you're giving her more time to do what? Mr. Governor, what are you giving her time to do? What this is doing is confusing people, because people are asking, but what about the decision of the Council of Ministers? And yes, the Prime Minister decided it was a bluff. It was a bluff. To see, and that's to tell you the arrogance. So good. What is William Marlin coming with next? Because, I mean, you can't leave the Prime Minister call the actions of the majority of Council of Ministers a bluff. So seriously, that's what it was? A bluff? I think this is becoming more and more confusing day by day, because it is clear that we have a governor who simply cannot make a decision. Cannot make a decision by looking at the facts as it is. What's the reason for giving her extended time? Because Romaine didn't pass the screening? You're really trying to tell me that all the brilliant advice and lawyers couldn't advise the farmateur that Romaine wouldn't have passed the screening? All the lawyers were sending her back the information saying that it was a legal meeting. All of them couldn't send advice out to say, look, listen, Prime Minister, this young man will not pass the screening. Are you really expecting him to pass the screening? Seriously? So really and truly, what kind of country are we living in? I don't get it, understand. I really don't get it, understand the kind of country that we are living in. We have a governor who seems to be lost in terms of don't know how to make a decision, but over and over seems to be appeasing the Prime Minister. Over and over. We have the Prime Minister who is just on a high horse because she's Napoleon Bonaparte and what she says goes. We have a member of Parliament, who simply seems to be in a wilderness by himself, wondering, and he's going to be there for 40 years, not being able to get himself out because everything about him is I, and that's just it. So, of course, people are confused. Of course, people are confused in the country. What is really going on? Who, where does the buck stop? The buck stops with whom? Who is there to make that final decision? Where is the country going? What is happening? Ay, I am confused because you want to believe that there's a role of leadership in this country that can make a sound decision. And as to why I don't recognize the governor, because again, he represents a colonial master. Okay, so I don't recognize the role of the governor. However, I'm living in a system that is of colonialism. We have a governor, and he has a decision and a role to play. So I am asking our wise and smart people out there, like Edwin Gomes, where are you, my friend? Can you please explain to me what is the role of the governor, His Excellency Eugene Holiday, in this country of St. Martin? What exactly is his role? Because people say, oh yeah, he's a representative of the Queen or of the King. If that is the case, then what is the role of the Dutch representative here in St. Martin, there across the street from the old hospital? What is his role? Who does he represent? So we have the Dutch representative here in St. Martin. We have Plastic in St. Martin. We have the governor in St. Martin, all representing the kingdom. Good. What is their role? What are they here for? To do what? Because the country is in an impasse where we have a dictator prime minister, an indecisive governor, all right? And then a population who is out there wondering and guessing what's next, who's right and who's wrong, and what decision should be made. And I am saying, clearly given all the circumstances, clearly given all the evidence, clearly given not this one passing the screen and that one, clearly we seen we are at an impasse, thus the reason why it is good grounds for early elections. It is good grounds for early elections. Mr. Governor, you're giving the farmature more time to do what? So, if you're giving the farmature more time to do that, what are you giving the Council of Ministers? The majority of the Council of Ministers. What about that request? What are you giving them? What decision are you going to render? What advice are you going to give out? You're looking at the basis of what? How is it that you're looking at the basis of those things, but you're not looking at the basis of the things from the Prime Minister? You seem to be one-sided. And yet you talk about not picking a side. What is the position and what is your role, Mr. Governor? Those are the things that the people of St. Martin want to know. It shouldn't have come to no surprise that the young MP wouldn't have passed the screening. It shouldn't have come to no surprise. We seriously seems to be lost in this country and lost in the fact from the head come down to the regular person. And we are at this juncture simply because of incompetent leadership in this country. There's no other way to put it. Incompetent leadership in the country have us lost. Have us seriously and sincerely lost. And this is the reason why they are trying their utmost best to hold on to power, clinch on to power, because they know that there will be sanctions hard for them come early elections. And the governor is sitting there, in my opinion, and not giving or rendering a verdict. And I said it on the night before program. There must be a consequence from whoever the responsible parties are for not doing due diligence to see that the Council of Ministers received that letter. There must be due diligence. Because if that was the case, it is believed that the ministers that who have resigned would not have done so. So, I mean, how is it that someone could simply not even get a slap on the wrist? Nothing was done. It is overpassed. It is look as if, yeah, well, okay, all right. You know, she's a woman and that's just it. That is ridiculous. But now we see the prime minister, we see the governor is sort of rewarding the prime minister for her wrongdoings. Rewarding her by giving her more time. To farm what? No government should be farmed, Mr. Governor. Elections is what should be called. Man, look, listen, this is... I am one that always try my best to look at the silver lining, read in between the lines, understand what is going on within our political arena. But this one have me at an impasse because you really thought everybody waiting for this press release today from the governor. And what came out? Oh, we're giving the pharmacy more time. You're giving the pharmacy more time to do what? To do what? It should have been known, the school children knew, dead people knew that Romaine Laville would not have not passed the screening. We knew that. Yeah, I'm lost for words actually because it tells me that we're at a dilemma and we are seriously in a conundrum in terms of the type of individuals we have who's questing or have a quest to lead this country. It is a wrong signal to send out to the generation that is next. It is a wrong signal for our school children because in the space of 2 years, 3 years, they're going to be back to a position where, okay, no, this one is not the Minister of Education, no more this one is. Oh no, this one is not the Minister of Education, now this one is. The school children themselves, the ones that we should be putting and building a country for, the generation now that is looking up to us as individuals, that is looking up to you, Mr. Governor, that is looking up to you, Mr. Prime Minister, that's looking up to you, William, you, Theo, all of us who say that we are leaders and politicians in this country. We have a generation of young people that we are confusing, that we are making a mockery of. We are not taking them into consideration. And then you have Romaine Laville coming up with a press release and a statement talking about he always believe in this and he always believe in that and he want this and I want that and I. But you have done nothing. You have proposed this legislation and it gone to this and you have proposed that. Come on, Romaine. You have promoted and proposed nothing. What you have done very well is solidify yourself in a position to get stuff and gain stuff. That is what you have done. Because everything that you have made mention that you have done for the people have not reached to fruition at this point. Nothing is clear. But everything that you wanted for yourself is done, sealed, and delivered. You got it. So again, the question comes back. You are doing it for whom? Who are you doing it for? For whom? And I'm going to say this whether you like it or not. Prime Minister Sarah Westcott Williams have been leading this country for the past 20 years. And if it's anything or anyone to be blamed for the situation and the country that we are in, it falls squarely on the shoulders of the Prime Minister. squarely and fairly on the shoulders of the Prime Minister. She had 8 years, 12 years uninterrupted rule. Uninterrupted rule. And now, in our new country, she has been Prime Minister not once, not twice, but again proposed for a 3rd time. Don't you guys see that it's all falling apart around this woman? She is failing, and that is what she's doing extremely well. And we continue to regard her as someone doing something good. The woman is an exceptionally great failure. And that's why our country is going nowhere. Because we don't want to say it, and we don't want to speak it. Because we have no balls, and we have no courage. And by turn saying that, we ourselves are failures. Because we don't want to stand for nothing. And even if it's William Marlin that you have to say it to, say it. Because you say it when it's him. Because all when there's mess and nasty and corruption, the NN William want to come and save it and do good. But when the nasty filthiness going on, we don't want to mention her role. We don't want to mention her role. So all that is good and the accolades that the Prime Minister should get, what about the wrongs? What about the wrongs? And that's why I say it. It's as if she spit in the mouth of many of you people. Because you guys had nothing to say. You was mute. You was quiet. You was dumbfounded. You was shocked. You was out of it when the letter circulated. Or you had nothing to say. Nothing. Because you guys are cowards. Yes, I've said it here. You all are cowards. St. Martin, it is truly, truly dark days in this country. Truly dark days in this country. And again, let me reiterate and say it. Our problems, our hardship, our trials and tribulations in this country comes down to one thing, one word: leadership. Leadership. And if we don't seriously, conscientiously sit down and evaluate the truth, and say, what is it that have us? Who is it that have us in the situation that we are in? Look at the lifestyle, look at the differences between them and us. The haves and the have too many. Look at it. Do your comparables. Compare it. Nothing is on our side. Banks are not friendly to young and local entrepreneurs. Insurance companies are ripping off the people. The grocery stores are killing us. Education is run amok. The social benefits in this country for the elderly and the unfortunate is crap. The labor in the 6 months contract, the minimum wage, the working is filthy. Huh? But we are talking about we got good country and she doing good things. Give me a break. Give me a break. Take care of yourself, St. Martin. People, have a very good night. We'll be back here at God Spare Our Lives on Wednesday. God bless you all. Goodbye.
There was a time when people dare not utter a word. There was a time when people were in the dark and searching for accurate information. Just when all hope is lost and frustration hangs in the balance, Sxmtalk emerges and broke the silence. Join host Christopher Emmanuel for live and serious discussions and hard talk.